At 76, Bruce Dickinson still has the power to shock fans. Known as the voice that lifted Iron Maiden to global fame, Bruce recently revealed something surprising. It wasn't a Steve Harris riff or a grand stage show that first pulled him into Maiden's orbit. It was a raw, gritty song sung by the band's first singer, Paul Di'Anno. Fans always wondered, why did Bruce, with his unique operatic style, choose to join a band that already had a very different frontman? The answer lies in one special Paul Di'Anno track that changed Bruce's life forever. Before Iron Maiden, Bruce Dickinson was searching. He had already made a name for himself in the band Samson, where his soaring voice was unlike anything in the new wave of British heavy metal. Yet deep down, he felt unfulfilled. The gigs were good, the crowds loud, but something was missing. Samson never gave him the creative fire he was chasing. Bruce wanted a band where he could unleash his full energy, where his dramatic voice could truly matter. Then late one night, a tape was passed to him. It was Iron Maiden. He pressed play, and instantly his world shifted. The voice he heard was raw, different, almost punk-like. Paul Di'Anno didn't sound polished, but there was something dangerous about his delivery. The song blasted through the speakers with wild energy. Bruce leaned in, caught off guard. He wasn't hearing trained perfection. He was hearing attitude. Paul sang with the bite of London's streets, and it gave Maiden's riffs a street-level grit. For Bruce, who grew up loving both opera and hard rock, this contrast was electric. He realized the band behind that voice was building something unique. They weren't just another metal act. They were rewriting the rules. The track was Phantom of the Opera. From the first haunting notes, Bruce was hooked. Paul Di'Anno's vocals weren't technically perfect, but they carried a chilly urgency. The galloping riffs, Steve Harris's bass, the eerie lyrics, everything worked like a storm. Bruce later admitted it was this song that convinced him Iron Maiden was destined for greatness. He thought, if a voice like mine could soar above this music, the world wouldn't know what hit them. For Bruce, this was the moment. He didn't just want to admire the band, he wanted to join them, to become part of their fire. Bruce knew he wasn't like Paul. Di'Anno's style was tough, punk-driven, full of grit. Bruce's voice was wide, operatic, capable of hitting notes few singers could touch. On paper, they couldn't be more different. But to Bruce, that difference was exactly why he felt pulled toward Maiden. He imagined taking songs like Phantom of the Opera and expanding them, lifting them higher with theatrical power. It wasn't about replacing Paul. It was about taking what Paul started and turning it into something even bigger. This clash of styles was the spark Iron Maiden didn't yet know they needed. By 1981, Iron Maiden was already making waves. They had released 2 strong albums with Paul, but trouble was brewing. Paul's punk roots and wild lifestyle began clashing with the band's growing ambition. Meanwhile, Bruce was playing with Samson, but rumors were everywhere. Maiden needed a new frontman. Bruce knew deep inside this was his chance. The memory of Phantom of the Opera kept echoing in his mind. He wasn't just interested in filling a vacancy. He wanted to bring that song and all of Maiden's music into a new era of power. It was destiny knocking. Bruce's first meeting with Iron Maiden felt electric. He stepped into the rehearsal room knowing this was the moment that could change everything. They asked him to sing. Instead of being nervous, Bruce felt a strange calm. He unleashed his voice, bigger, higher, and more dramatic than anything the band had heard before. The musicians looked at each other. This was it. Paul's grit had given them raw energy, but Bruce's operatic thunder gave them wings. For Bruce, it felt like the completion of a circle. The very song that made him dream of joining now placed him inside the band. With Bruce on board, Iron Maiden's sound shifted overnight. When he sang older songs like Phantom of the Opera, they took on a new dimension. Fans could feel it, the drama, the fire, the storytelling. Soon after, the band recorded The Number of the Beast. This was no small step. It was the record that made Maiden legends. But Bruce never forgot how it all began. In interviews, he admitted that hearing Paul's voice on that one song lit the fuse. Without Di'Anno, Bruce might never have recognized Maiden's potential. It was respect, hidden inside rivalry. Over the years, fans often tried to pit Bruce and Paul against each other, but Bruce always showed respect. He said Paul's voice gave Maiden their edge in the early days. It was rough, wild, and perfect for introducing the band to the world. Yet Bruce also admitted that he saw room for evolution. He believed Maiden needed someone who could match the complexity of their music as it grew. That's where he came in. But he never once denied that without Paul Di'Anno and that unforgettable performance on Phantom of the Opera, he might never have stepped forward. Even today, when Bruce sings Phantom of the Opera, fans feel chills. The song is more than a track. It's a symbol of transition from the punky grit of Di'Anno to the soaring drama of Dickinson. And at 76, Bruce still calls it one of the greatest Maiden songs ever written. He explained that it carried the spirit of both singers, two different energies woven together in one timeless masterpiece. Fans who know the story understand why the song is so important. It didn't just make Iron Maiden famous. It pulled Bruce into the band, shaping heavy metal history forever. Now, decades later, Bruce looks back with gratitude. He shocked fans by admitting that a Paul Di'Anno song was the reason he joined Maiden. It wasn't ego, it was honesty. Bruce has conquered stages, recorded classics, and become one of the most iconic voices in rock. But it all traces back to that one night, pressing play on a tape and hearing Phantom of the Opera. The raw voice of Paul Di'Anno, the power of the music, the promise of something greater, that was the spark. At 76, Bruce's truth is clear. That song made him who he is today.